In 2015, GJRB is still the What's Happening sound. Spring brings forth flowers and more great programs on GJRB with longer broadcasts and more features on my talk shows like guests and live phone calls. More up-and-coming shows in jazz and country. More old-time radio with Radioland. And with more great programs coming alive on the GJRB Spring Spectacular. Now, going on GJRB. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland. Uploaded as the podcast Saturday, May 2nd on GJRB. The strange, the bizarre, way out there on GJRB. Yeah. Drink and get back ready to get back on. Welcome back to Way Out There on GJRB. Gary J. Russin for you here as we continue talking about the strange, the unusual. I'll also be doing my scroll through Facebook. Do that. I scroll through social media. And earlier, like I mentioned at the end of that last break, someone came on and didn't like me posting the shows on my Ohio School of Broadcasting page, the group page, so that so people in the group page will not hear GJRB or the Gary Russin program ever again unless they choose to or want to request it. Other than that, that's all right. I can deal with that. So, yeah. Coming up, I got Ed Dane's predictions. I've got that coming up. A very interesting one there. And some more interesting pieces that I'm going to be talking about. Hear about this story. This comes out of Fox. This story was really good, and I wanted to talk about this earlier. Did you know that there's a thing going on right now, a government spy system, if you will, that fool your cell phone into thinking they're picking up a cell tower, but yet you're being eavesdropped on. Check this out. This is from Shepard Smith.
Half past the hour now. Top of the news. There's word the CIA helped the Justice Department develop special technology to spy on cell phones here in the United States. Thank you. That's according to the reporting of the Wall Street Journal, which cites people familiar with the program. According to the report, small planes like this Cessna carry devices that mimic cell phone towers. Officials reportedly call them dirty boxes. They can monitor thousands of phones at a time. According to the reporting of the Journal, officials say once they find a suspect, they stop monitoring all the other phones and focus just on the target. The system can reportedly use the phone's information to track suspects within 10 feet of where they are. A Justice Department spokesman told the Wall Street Journal, the Wall Street Journal, that its techniques are legal and denied that they conduct domestic surveillance. Denied that. Critics call the program a digital dragnet because the feds are also scanning data from thousands of phones of people who did not do anything wrong and who deserve freedom of and privacy from their own government. But they are not getting it. Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano is here. Is this legal?
You knew this made my blood boil when we talked about it earlier. This is absolutely not legal. It is not constitutional and has not been authorized by any judge. The money comes from the CIA budget. The CIA is prohibited by its charter and by the statutes that enable it to do what it does from participating in domestic surveillance. So the money, millions of dollars in the past 10 years, that the CIA has given to the U.S. Marshal Service in the Justice Department is unlawfully given and unlawfully spent. That's problem number one. Problem number two, in order to do this, you need a search warrant. In order to get a search warrant, you have to identify the people whose phone calls you're going to listen to and give a reason why you want to hear them. There's no search warrant. There's no identifying. They capture thousands of phone calls from a plane in the sky by tricking your cell phone into thinking it's communicating with them, and then they listen to what they want to listen to and decide who they want to go after. This is a dragnet if ever there was one. And we know they've been listening to the phone calls of innocent people that they're not even looking for. How do we know it? Because the transcripts of some of those phone calls have inadvertently slipped into documents in court, and federal judges have said, "What's this?" And prosecutors have said, "We can't tell you, Your Honor. We're not allowed to tell you what this is about."
How do we stop them?
Well, by discussing it on air like this and letting lawmakers who are concerned about the Constitution know about it.
Look, after this segment is over, I'll get emails from idiots. And I'll go ahead and say they're idiots. Who say, "I'm not doing anything wrong. The government can look at whatever they want." You lost America if you believe that way.
You're right.
That's not what this country is all about. This country is about freedom from and of our government. If you don't do anything wrong, the government has to leave you alone. It is as fundamental to this democracy as any other tenet. And you will write me and you will say, "I don't care if you're wrong. They're wrong."
There's nothing I can say that can add to the power of what you just said.
What's going to happen when they don't like the president or they don't like the Congress or they don't like the way the government's acting? What's going to happen when they come knocking on their door? Because you're telling me they won't. I went to Cuba a couple of times working, and government minders followed me around. We don't need government minders here because they monitor everything we do digitally.
This is a government minder in the sky. And it's so effective you don't even know you have a government minder. And no one would want to live like that.
If I spy on my neighbor in that way, there's a police force that will come track me down. But if the government spies on me, there is nothing to stop them.
I thought the government worked for us, and we didn't work for them.
That was the theory now, wasn't it?
Yes. Look, I don't know where this is going to go.
It's not going to go anywhere. None of this ever goes anywhere.
I will tell you that the first federal judge, before whom they bring this program in a way to validate it, is going to invalidate it. It is so patently, clearly unlawful for the 3 or 4 reasons I just gave you.
I don't talk on the phone, not on the cell phone. Mostly just text. I hope they enjoy the text. I say hello to them every day.
Look, the Supreme Court wrote an opinion just 2 months ago in which the Chief Justice said to all the police in the land, you want the contents of somebody's phone call, and put it in caps. Go get a warrant. There you go.
In other words, go get it yourself. See, this is what I said before, and this is all George Orwell coming true, folks. You know, they want to hear what you're saying and what you're talking about. You know, you have anything to say against the President of the United States, they'll come after you. And that's what they're trying to do. I guess they're trying to find, and I don't know, is this part of that national security thing, or is it just that they want to spy on us? What do you think? I mean, this has gone a little too far, hasn't it? And they're going to keep on doing this stuff. It's like I said, years and years ago, and like what you heard earlier today, on the last 7 days, that you're patriotic. I'm one of those. And if you're religious minded and all that stuff, they're going to find ways to get you. They will. They're going to find ways to get you. All right, coming up right now, we're going to get up to that one Ed Dane's predictions. And I was saying before, this is from a Coast to Coast back in October when George Nori had Ed Danes on his program. And they were talking about the predictions Ed Danes had and what he saw for this year.
Ed, looking back at some of the past discussions, you said that you don't think there's going to be a presidential election in 2016. You still hold that?
Yes, I think martial law will be declared, or something worse. Martial law as an adjunct to something worse, and I think that will be probably either a kill shot or economic collapse or both concurrent.
And I always ask you, do you still stand by what you've said in the past? You never change. You always stand by what you say.
Well, in remote viewing, as I've mentioned before, if we as professional remote viewers can discern an event ahead, especially big events, it already exists in time. It's a fait accompli in terms of movement in time, but it already exists. So, of course, we stand by that. And what I'm saying is that over the years, these massive solar flares, this sequence that I've come to the appellation I've given to this kill shot, this present sunspot and the ones behind it appear to be the beginning of the end in terms of, there'll be a new beginning at some juncture. I don't know how. I've been asked this quite a bit. How long the sequence will last, months, years, or whatever, I honestly don't know. But it's going to really damage our communications tremendously and our infrastructures tremendously. It'll be the secondary effects that do the most damage to human beings. That means no transportation, gas pumps don't work, communications are down, not all over the earth at once, but point by point by point by point. The ancillary damage will cause the starvation of a lot of people worldwide. I mean, in the developing countries now, you've got starvation occurring. So it's going to be the same old there, or worse, if it can get worse. But for the developed countries, we're on terra incognito, and it's a brave new world. And yes, millions and millions of people will bite the dust. It's here. What I've been predicting will probably start in 2014, and now it looks like it is starting.
But
I'm going to go on the road one more time. That's it. One more time to talk about this behind closed doors, because the sensitive information we can't talk about in terms of sanctuary locations. I'll do it one more time in December and in January, 4 cities, and that's it. And then I have to take care of my own level.
I know it's Vegas, Orlando, Philadelphia, and Portland, right?
Right. Portland on the 6th of December, and Baltimore, Orlando, and Las Vegas in January, and then I say sayonara for a while.
Well, I hope you come back, because if you're gone, that means we may all be gone.
No, that's not true. I'm going to provide as much threat management and warning and protection information so that people can outrun or avoid these dangers like I'm going to be able to do it, or else be overtaken or overcome by them. We need to prepare for a very significant paradigm shift.
Absolutely. Are you still concerned about North Korea, Ed?
Yeah, I am. I'm very much concerned about them because, as a former soldier, there's 28,500 U.S. troops over. Not that I'm not caring about the South Koreans. In fact, I have a South Korean contract right now to do a special study, and I'm mapping the location of undiscovered tunnels, DPRK tunnels, that can transport a regiment to a division an hour from this, go north to the south. If they have to. 4 have been discovered since the 1970s. Wow. But I'm mapping the rest, and I'm also, for my client, mapping all the locations of the actual North Korean nuclear devices, the devices themselves, the weapons, doing that. And my client wants me to provide that to both the South Korean government and the U.S. government, and I will.
But